Hey guys, this is going to be my June wrap-up and July TBR where I go through the books that I read in June and give you a quick overview of what I thought and the 5-star rating that I gave them on Goodreads, and then I will go through the books that I plan to read in July. Last month's one of these was extremely long. I'm going to try and keep this a lot shorter. That shouldn't be too hard considering I read an embarrassingly low amount of books this month, and I think there's a lot of factors going into that. One thing is it took me an extremely long time to read one of the books. So yeah, I've only finished 3 books as of right now. I think I'm filming this a bit early, a bit before June is actually over, so I think I'm going to finish a 4th book before June's over, so I'm going to go ahead and include that. So that's embarrassingly low, especially considering that it's summer break. But here are the books that I read in June. This first book isn't going to be surprising considering I've already made 4 videos on it, but it's City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. I reviewed this on my blog as well as making 4 videos on YouTube because I just couldn't stop talking about it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I think that this was an amazing conclusion to the series, and it was just incredible. I think, this definitely my favorite book of the entire series, I think, and because I usually say that about endings because I like endings, but this was just incredibly well done, like an incredible ending, and I am in love with this book. Next book that I read this month was The Harm in Asking: My Clumsy Encounters with the Human Race by Sarah Barron. I was sent this for review and I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I wasn't a huge fan. Part of the reason why I think it took me so long, why I only read such a small amount of books this month is because this one and another one, the next one I'm going to tell you, took me a really long time to read because I wasn't really into this book. It's not that long, but it took me a while to get through. It's a humor book, and I chose to review this because because I'd never really read humor and I thought it'd be kind of fun to actually do that. And while I'm going to do, I did review this on my blog, but basically my thoughts are that there were some funny bits, but it wasn't that funny, and I kind of found the narrator, the author, a bit annoying at certain points, especially in the beginning of the book, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it altogether. And the last book that I finished reading this month was on my Kindle, and it took me an insanely long time to get through, but it's Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. It's probably one of my favorite Jane Austen books. I'm going to reread Pride and Prejudice because I read that in middle school. And it's right now what I consider my favorite Jane Austen book, but I'm not sure how I'll feel about it after I reread it. But other than Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park is definitely my favorite, which is weird because I didn't think that it would be going in, but I really liked Fanny as a character, I think because I related to her a bit, so I really like that book. I've reviewed it on my blog already, but I really liked it, and I'm really enjoying going through and reading all of the Jane Austen books so far, so yeah. I'm currently in the middle of 2 books. I think I'm going to finish one of those books before June actually ends, so I'm going to go ahead and include it in this because if I don't, I will not remember to include it in my July wrap-up, and that is Blonde Ops by Charlotte Bernardo and Natalie Zaman. I won this from Goodreads, and I currently right now am right here, so I don't have that much left. I think I'll finish it. I'm filming this a few days before June's over, and I think I'll finish this. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to rate it yet though. I think probably 2 stars or 3 stars depending on how the ending goes. I'm going to do a review on this once I finish it. I don't know if it'll be on my blog or here on YouTube, but I have a lot of problems with this, and it's not a very believable story, and sometimes I'm okay with that, but I'm not really in this case. Like, it's just not working for me overall. I'm kind of leaning towards 2 stars, but if the ending's good enough, I'll give it 3 stars, so we'll see. But that's the last book in my wrap-up. I'm going to include the other book that I'm reading because I'm not as far into it in my July TBR, which I will get to now. Okay, my July TBR is actually going to be a little bit embarrassing because I didn't get through to all of my June TBR books. After, like I just talked about, I read an embarrassing low amount of books. But I have 2 books that I got for review, so they're kind of like usurping the books that I didn't get to on my June TBR. That'll also be on my July TBR. So the book I'm reading right now is a book I got for review, and it's Intangible by C.A. Gray. It's a fantasy book. It works around Arthurian legend, and so it's really interesting so far. Still not entirely sure. I'm not that far into it, so I don't know really how I feel about it, but it is very interesting. It's a very interesting concept, and so I'm really looking forward to reading more of it and seeing how it goes. And then I want to read The Big Wide Calm by Rich Marcello. I was sent this for review, and it sounds really interesting. I should have reread the back to remind myself what it was about before I started this, but I think it's an adult book, and I'm not entirely sure about that, but I think it might be. And so yeah, I read more YA, but I do read adult sometimes. So from what I can read from the back, it's about Paige, who is a musician, and she meets this guy named John, who is rich and a former semi-famous singer-songwriter, and he offers to record her album for free, and that's what this book is about. So it should be interesting. I haven't read a book that really focuses on music at all in a really long time, so that should be really, really interesting, and I think that it will be an interest. It looks like a really good book, so hopefully it is. And then after that, I want to read Persuasion by Jane Austen, continuing through my whole reread all the Jane Austen books, although I don't have one of them because it's not free for the Kindle, and I've decided now with all the Amazon stuff I'm not going to, probably going to like lay off of the Kindle books for a while. So once I finish these, unless I get review books, I was going to mention this, but unless I get review books, I'm probably not going to be reading on my Kindle once I finish up the ones that I have for a while, not forever, but for a little bit, because I have, partly because of the whole Amazon controversy, and partly because I have so many print books that I need to get to, and I want to focus on those. But anyway, we're going to finish up what I have on my Kindle, and I'm going to read Persuasion by Jane Austen. I don't know anything about that one. I don't think. Like, I can't remember hearing anything about it, so I don't really know what that one, I mean, I kind of know what it's about because it's a Jane Austen book, but I don't really know any details. But then I want to read The Zero Marginal Cost Society, The Internet of Things, The Collaborative Commons, and The Eclipse of Capitalism by Jeremy Rifkin. And this is another one that I won from Goodreads, and it was on my June TBR, and I haven't gotten to it, but I'm really excited about it because, of course, it's about the internet and capitalism and things like that. And I'm not really in techonomics or anything like that, but I really am into the internet, and I find how the internet's affecting the economy to be really interesting, and so I'm really, really excited about this and reading it. And then my last book on my July TBR is going to be Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and that'll be the last of the Jane Austen books I have on my Kindle. I can't remember which one I don't have, but there is one that I don't have. Northanger Abbey, I think I did, no, yeah, I think that's the one that I can't find for free. So I'm gonna reread Pride and Prejudice for the first time since 8th grade and see how I feel about it, and hopefully I manage to do that all in July, but I really doubt it, especially with the Jane Austen books, because Emma and Mansfield Park both took me a really long time to get through, so I kind of expect that for those two, which means that I'm probably not going to get that many books read in July overall, but we're going to try and hope for the best. But I think that is all. Hopefully this wasn't too long. Hopefully it was at least shorter than last month's. So I will see you guys later. Bye.